Hi, and welcome to Rowlett on the Water on the Move. I'm Mayor Todd Gottel.
And I'm Lynda, City Manager.
This show is produced entirely by city staff and can be found on Rowlett's own television network, RTN 16. You can also find us on the YouTube channel and on streaming video by going to rowlett.com. Lynda, we've got a great program again today. We're going to give everyone the latest news on the drought situation, present an update on the Garland shooting range, and talk about the next opportunity for Realize Rowlett 2020 Phase 2. You know, by the end of the show, you'll know all about everything that's going on in the city of Rowlett during the month of March.
And we're busy.
We are very, very busy. Well, how about we begin by talking about the news, and let's talk about the drought, because it's a pretty serious situation, but I think we've got some good news as well.
Well, we do, Mayor. As we've talked about, there are really two aspects to Stage 3 watering for the North Texas Municipal Water District. The first has been the drought that we've been in for 2011. Obviously, the rain events in December and January have ended the second longest drought on record in Texas. But we will continue to have water restrictions. And I know people are saying, you know what, it's rained, how come we've still got water restrictions? Well, the truth of the matter is, and y'all have heard us talk about this for several months now, we get our water from the North Texas Municipal Water District, and they have several water sources that supply water to us. Many people think it's Lake Ray Hubbard, but that's not true. That's owned by the city of Dallas. But the district gets their water from Lake Texoma, Lake Levant, Lake Tawakoni, and Lake Jim Chapman. But due to invasive zebra mussels, the water from Lake Texoma is not available at this time. That particular water source was taken off in 2009, was unable to be brought back during the drought of 2011. And what the district is determining that they're going to have to make some capital improvements to deal with the federal law, the Lacey Act, if you will, that prevents the interstate transport of water across state lines. It's important to know that Lake Texoma is in both Oklahoma and Texas, and as a result of that, they are having to make some capital improvements.
Because of the transfer of the zebra mussels, they're not allowed to transfer into invasive species.
That's exactly right. So on the short term, the way that they're going to compensate with that is they are in the process of negotiating a 3-year water contract with the city of Dallas that is going to bridge the fact that Lake Texoma is going to be offline for the next couple of years while a pipeline is built that will help manage the transport of the water as a result of the Lacey Act. And so we are going to stay in Stage 3, and it's likely that we will be in Stage 3 for at least this year and possibly next year, depending on the rain and the situation. So short term, we're going to stay in Stage 3. Right now, that means you can water every other week through the end of May. The district has affirmed that position at their February board meeting. They are indicating to us that they would be willing to readdress this at the end of May with the anticipation that during the hot part of the summer that we could be able to water once a week. But right now it's watering every other week for your landscaping, but you can certainly put soaker hoses out and water your foundation every day to protect your investment should you choose to do that. One of the things that we do want to talk about just a moment is all of the capital improvements necessary to bridge this problem with the zebra mussels, whether it's the short-term water contract with Dallas or it's the pipeline expansion from Texoma to their plant in Wiley is going to require us to pass along rate increases that we anticipate we will receive from the North Texas Municipal Water District.
Now, you've actually attended, or you've been attending all of these meetings. Now,
Yes.
we are a customer, not a board member.
That's right.
So you have a seat in the audience, so to speak.
That's right.
And you know, and really kind of tell us the flavor of what you're seeing there, because I know there's a lot of really talented folks that are working on the situation. They are not taking the situation lightly at all. So kind of fill us in what your thoughts are.
Well, you know, this is a really complicated issue, Mayor, as you well know. The Federal Lacey Act prevents as I've said, the transport of invasive species across state lines. And it dates back to the early 1900s when that law was originally adopted, and the zebra mussels were added in the late 1990s. So we are, as a part of the North Texas Municipal Water District, the first water district to anybody's knowledge in the United States that's had to figure out how to manage the zebra mussels in a water management type plan. It's going to require some changes in some federal legislation, and as that evolves, we'll talk more about that. But they are, the district officials have indicated that they've been to Washington several times during the month of February, had very good support from our legislative delegation as far as this is going to require an amendment to the law that will allow the district to transport zebra mussels in a pipeline, and they're going to do some filtering so that it won't get into the water supply. But that's going to require an amendment to the law. It's a very difficult, very complicated process, so they're having to deal with this on the legislative aspect. They're having to design the pipeline and some improvements to their system literally on the fly, because we can't wait for water. The time is essential. So to your point, the district has a very good handle on this. They're being very aggressive about this. They're doing a very good job of educating both their member and their customer cities. They are keeping us updated, and we're going to be talking about this more and more in the months to come. We had purposely limited the conversation in hopes that the aggressive water that we got in January, I believe we had like the 6th wettest January ever.
When it rains, it pours, doesn't it?
It does.
For months without a drop, and now we get a lot.
That's it. And in the month of January, literally Lake Lavon rose 6 feet.
Yeah.
It was pretty extraordinary. So all of that to say that in the April-May programs, we'll do an extended conversation about the topic, what this looks like and why. I was recently a part of an update with the district, and they're still refining their numbers. They're still refining their plans. They are in the final stages of designing some of their work, which will make some of their projection numbers more current. So once we get all of this moving parts a little more stabilized, then we can start talking about it. But to this point, every time we go, the story remains constant, but the details change just a little bit.
Sure.
So in the months to come, we'll certainly be talking about it so that everybody is informed and educated before we get to October.
Yeah, and I think that's really the key, is really, making sure that people are really aware. Because really up to this point, I don't think a lot of people knew that we were really pumping from Texoma.
Yes.
This is the same pipeline that we've been pumping for years.
That's right.
From Texoma.
That's right.
But they've discovered zebra mussels. So the bottom line is we've got to do something so we don't infest the other lakes with the zebra mussels. So I know they're working on it, and I want to thank you and your staff for attending all of those meetings. They're very tedious, and you guys are doing a great job with that. So.
Thank you.
Our next topic is the update on the Garland Public Shooting Range. Lynda, why don't you give us an update? Because I know you work very hard with this. This is something that has involved not just our community, but other communities as well, and we've got some progress to report.
Okay. Just to recap the issue, in mid-January, Rowlett police responded to 2 homes where bullets had penetrated either an exterior wall and several interior walls at a home on Dutchess Way, or gone through the roof and landed on the floor at a home in Fair Oaks Drive. Fortunately, there were no injuries reported in either incident. In 2010, Michael Doman was injured at his residence in the 3100 block of Dutchess Way when a bullet struck him while he was working in his backyard. So you take Mr. Doman's issue with the 2 incidents that we have, and what we've got now are 3 incidents where we are aware of stray bullets leaving the Garland Public Shooting Range with the potential to do serious injury in just a 2-year period of time. It's important to note that this neighborhood is about a mile away and is in direct line with the rifle lanes located at the Garland Public Shooting Range. Recognizing the concern for the personal safety and the peace of mind of our Rowlett residents in this neighborhood, we moved very aggressively to file a petition for temporary and permanent injunction against the gun range the same week that these incidents occurred. Now, it's very important that we note at this point that it was not our intent to close down the Garland gun range. The point of the suit was to require Mr. James Day, owner of the range, to operate the range in a safe and responsible way that does not jeopardize the safety of Rowlett residents. Now, I want to talk about that just a moment. Mr. Day absolutely has the right to operate a gun range in the community, and we don't have a problem with that. But he has a responsibility to ensure that the bullets that are fired on his range stay on his property. When they leave that property, it's technically considered a trespass. And when it starts jeopardizing the safety of our community and of our citizens, that's a place that we had to, in the spirit of public safety, cause something to happen. So as a result of that, a hearing was scheduled for Tuesday, February 7th in the 95th District Court at the George Allen Courthouse in Dallas. Fortunately, prior to that hearing, a settlement agreement was reached between Mr. Day and the City of Rowlett, and as a result of that, that hearing has been postponed to allow Mr. Day to make the following improvements to his facility. There will be no blue sky. Let me talk about what that means. What that says is that there will be no open sky visible from a shooter's position at the back of the shooting bench, and that's very important. If you see blue sky, there's a potential then for the bullet that's being fired from a weapon to leave the premises, and the goal here is to ensure all bullets fired at the gun range stay on gun range property. Modifications of the rifle range would include overhead visors, an 1/8 of an inch steel plating and foam lining to be added as a part of that limitation of the blue sky. The berms that are a little over 11 feet would be raised to 20 feet. And at that point in time, they also agreed to add an additional range officer to the firing line to ensure better supervision of the information, or actually of the weapons and the ammunition being brought into the range and being fired. They did offer that until these modifications can be completed within the next 30 days, that the rifle range operations would be restricted to prohibit the use of rifles 30 caliber or greater in size. So essentially, let me make sure I said that correctly, that any rifle 30 caliber or greater will not be allowed to be shot within the next 30 days or until these improvements can be made. Garland Public Shooting Range has agreed that all modifications will be completed by March 7th, assuming weather can be permitted. Once the improvements are made, a safety study will be conducted, and if these improvements sufficiently reduce the safety risks to Rowlett residents, no further action will be required. If they don't, then we will ask the judge to cause that hearing to be scheduled, and we will move forward. Before we move on to this, off of this topic, I think it's very important to talk about some of our regional partners with this, Mayor. First of all, the City of Garland. They are obviously an important neighbor to us since they border us, and it's also where the rifle range or the gun range is located. Their council, their mayor, their city manager, as well as their city attorney, undoubtedly understood our concern, were great partners with us to work with Mr. Day in the gun range so that immediate action could be taken. Mayor, you worked extensively with our legislative delegation, and it took all of them working together. We were able to get a meeting with the Chief of Staff of the Attorney General's office. That became important for a couple of reasons. Just to give you some history, in 2009, at the last legislative session, I guess it was 2011. We're in 2012, yes. Aren't we, Mayor?
I was like, I'm looking at my clock going, wait a minute now.
That's it. In 2011, some legislation was passed that essentially removed the municipality's authority to regulate or sue gun ranges. Based on our investigation of how this happened, there were a lot of cities that were taking enforcement action for nuisance claims such as noise and things like that as a way to eradicate gun ranges in the state of Texas. This is about the time that there were some changes to the concealed weapon permit laws, and gun ranges are a very necessary aspect of responsible gun ownership, so that folks have an opportunity to go out to the gun range and practice so that they can safely carry the pistol should they have this permit. So the legislative delegation was trying to take appropriate steps to make sure that gun ranges were not put out of business due to unnecessary litigation. Unfortunately, in our case, we believe it went too far. Remember, the distinction I talked about was this was not a nuisance violation, this was a trespass issue. When bullets are physically leaving the gun range and in causing safety concerns to residents, we need to be able to deal with that on a public safety perspective. It's important to note that one of the bullets that left the gun range physically went through the roof and 6 walls and landed in a child's bedroom. And I don't know about you, but that's a pretty scary thought when I think about what could have happened should that child have been in that room.
Well, and when you think about the 6 walls that you're
Yes.
referring to, we're talking a roof, we're talking attic, we're talking, and I mean, it's just, you know, you think you're safe inside your home, and
That's
you're
right.
not. So.
And 30 minutes later, we had a situation where another bullet went through some exterior walls and went through a living room and a dining room with the family at home. Those aren't the kind of things that we think we have to deal with in the city of Rowlett, and we don't. And so it really became a public safety concern. And so again, going back to our premise, this was not to put Mr. Day out of business. This was just causing Mr. Day to step up to the plate and run his business in a way that it didn't jeopardize the safety of our property owners. And so when we realized we didn't have the authority to file suit, the Attorney General does. And so that was the reason that we worked with our delegation to have a seat at the table, if you will, to express our concerns and just elevate this to a level of awareness at a legislative and governmental level on a state level. Now, there was some concern that from our residents that we were suing on behalf of private citizens, and that's partially correct. We were doing that only because that is the way the law was written and allowed us to do this. But of all of the citizens that participated in the suit with us, they recognized we were not suing for damages. If they wanted any type of monetary damage from Mr. Day, that was a separate suit. All we were attempting to do was to perfect the law so that we could have the ability to get before a judge for public safety purposes and make Mr. Day make improvements. We believe that he is going to be doing that. We're hopeful, as I said, that these changes will allow the safety standard for our Rowlett residents to be met, and no further action will be taken. But if they don't, we will go back to court and require Mr. Day to make improvements so that he can cohabitate and be a good neighbor to not only Garland but to us, and do so in a way that does not jeopardize the safety of our residents.
Well, you guys have done an outstanding job. I want to thank our state representatives, our senators, and all of those that played an active role in making this happen, especially the city of Rowlett and the city of Garland. So thank you guys. We certainly appreciate the support there, because it's really about keeping our neighborhoods safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, it is a public safety issue, and I know there's some folks at home saying, well, you know, really, why is that a city issue? Well, it's a city issue from a personal safety standpoint, but if we have an entire subdivision that nobody wants to live in because they're concerned of their personal safety, we've got a whole neighborhood that's worthless.
Well, and Lynda, there are a lot of kids that live in that neighborhood.
You
I
bet.
drive through there all the time, and I see little kids riding their bike, and you know, you teach your kids to say, watch out for the car, don't walk out in the street. Well, you don't see a bullet flying through the air.
That's right.
And so we could be having this discussion with a child that's been hit or
bet.
potentially deceased. So the good news is we were able to catch it before we had too much damage at this point, and it sounds like that the gun ranger, Mr. Day, is willing to step up and do the right thing.
You bet.
So why don't we talk about our Realize Rowlett 2020 program, you know, phase 2, and it's moving forward. You guys have done an outstanding job with this one. I really would take an opportunity to thank Erin Jones as well. She really has done a great job in moving this forward. Our phase 2 will take the next step and implement on all the regulatory tools that are needed to make this vision a reality. The process will include citizens, landowners, stakeholders, and a market analysis with many opportunities for Rowlett citizens to get involved. That's the key, is really the citizen involvement on this. Phase 2 has been refined to focus on 4 key areas. These key areas were selected due to the potential return on investment, ability to develop, and their potential influence to develop throughout the entire city. They are B2, which is Woodside Living, D1, which is Healthy Living, E1, which is what you call the Signature Gateway, and E4, which is Old Town. And you can go to Rowlett.com and find the maps online if you're interested in looking into this more. But in the first of 3 areas, concept plans from form-based codes and specific elements will be created. 2 town hall meetings are scheduled to provide an opportunity for citizens to offer input into these areas. Town hall meetings will be held at the Rowlett Community Center on Saturday, March 31st, and they'll run from 9 to 3, and on Saturday, June 23rd from 9 to 3. These are come-and-go events, and you're welcome to come in and stop by and provide your input. And your input is very, very much appreciated.
You know, and it is important to note that you can come and stay or you can come and go. We're going to be running all 4 areas simultaneously. There'll be an introduction video. You'll be able to give your input through some survey questions that we'll take your information from. And then if you only have an interest in one area, you can go to that particular breakout session and participate. But if you have an interest in all 4 areas, we'd be delighted. We'd certainly like to have you, and you can participate in all of the meetings. So while we're saying 9 to 3, come and go, we want you to participate to the extent you want to participate, but the key is come out and participate.
Special attention will be placed on the last area, E4, Old Town or Downtown Rowlett. This is the heart of Rowlett. It's the home of restaurants, businesses, civic facilities, festivals, and the future Drought light rail station. A detailed form-based code that's regulating plan will be created for this area. We're also going to focus on downtown meetings will be on Thursday, April 5th from 6 and 9, and on Monday, June 25th from 6 to 9. Please visit www, and that's realizeRowlett2020.com for all the details. Again, that's www is realizeRowlett2020.com for the details.
You know, while we're planning, sir, we're also participating in the Great Texas Warrant Roundup. The Rowlett Police Department has joined 160 law enforcement agencies throughout North Texas in an effort to clean up open warrants. So from now through Sunday, March 4th, officers will seek out and arrest people with outstanding warrants. An amnesty period for those with failure to appear warrants will be offered beginning February 25th at 7:30 a.m., continuing through March 4th at 5 p.m. Citizens will have the opportunity to have their failure to appear warrant dismissed upon payment in full of the originally charged warrant offense. This provides a savings of nearly $300 to those with a failure to appear warrant in addition to their original charge. No special court date or hearing is required. Those wishing to have their failure to appear warrants dismissed may come to the municipal court during normal business hours to pay their original charge. Those with outstanding Rowlett Municipal Court warrants who wish to avoid being contacted by law enforcement and jailed on their warrants should contact Rowlett Municipal Court at 972-412-6222 or the Police Department Warrant Section at 972-463-3938. And I can't stress enough, please take care of your business if you owe us money in that way, because we will come to your job, we will come to your home. If we can find you, we will collect. So if you don't want that to happen, we certainly want to hear from you unless you get that cleared up.
Which means don't answer your door at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, don't.
But I will tell you what, they will definitely come and get you, and it's important. It's a great opportunity, Lynda, to take advantage. If you have a warrant out there, take care of it. You know, we don't want to come out and visit you. We really don't. So it's a great opportunity to also save some money.
That's right.
Well, speaking of cleaning up, let's talk about our March cleanup campaign. That runs March 1st through the 31st. I am really looking forward to this. This is one of my favorite times of the year. I love cleaning up outside. I know that's not probably big on many people's list, but it really is nice to get rid of all the debris and the shrubs and things that have accumulated over the winter. So trim those trees, bushes, increase your property value, and get a jump on spring cleaning. The annual March cleanup campaign allows Rowlett residents to dispose of brush and non-hazardous bulk items free of charge and without limits on the number of visits. That's important. You can take your carloads after carload after carload to get rid of this stuff, and there are folks there to help you get rid of this stuff. I mean, it's a really good opportunity. The program runs every day in March, including weekends, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's weather permitting, and the site will be closed if it is raining. A valid driver's license or ID is required as proof of residency. While addresses with the East Fork water bills are acceptable. The drop-off location is 1904 Castle Drive behind the 7-Eleven. So I would again I would encourage you to please take advantage of that. We are accepting all residential brush and non-hazardous bulky items. These are materials that we cannot accept, materials we cannot accept in the cleanup campaign dumpsters are televisions, computer components or monitors, tires, batteries, or automobile parts, any chemical or liquids such as paint, motor oil, or solvents, dirt, rock or concrete, construction, any type of demolition or roofing materials, herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers, or pool chemicals, freon containing appliances such as air conditioners, freezers, or refrigerators, and then commercial contractors discards.
You know, Mayor, I do want to say that you can drop off air conditioners, freezers, or refrigerators if you have had the freon removed, but you need to do that through an authorized person that can tag it. And if there is proof that the freon has been removed, we will certainly be happy to take those items, but you need to be able to prove that that has occurred.
And we also have bulk pickup as well, and by calling IESI, our trash company, you can also remove the paint and solvents if you call them. I believe they have special bins they'll drop off to do that as well.
Well, and the great thing is that is just a part of the service that they offer. Anything that is legitimately allowed to be constituted as a bulky item, you could actually put out with your trash. You can contact them directly, or it's Rowlett at IESI.com. I happened to use that service myself recently and was very pleased. I sent them an email, and I did it prior to my garbage pickup day. I put the items out with my garbage pickup, and the garbage truck picked them up when they were there and they were moved. So it was a great feature. So either participate in the March cleanup or put them out at the curb and call for a special pickup. But the important thing is just to utilize this spring for spring cleanup.
Well, it's a great time to do it. Let's go to a commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be talking about a construction update.
You betcha.
Texas leads the nation in flood deaths. Most flood deaths are due to people driving into floodwaters. 2 feet of rushing water can move even the largest vehicles. He trusts you and will follow you anywhere. His trust, your decision. Make the right choice. Turn around. Don't drown.
And we are back. So let's go to one of my favorite topics in the city, along with every other citizen out there, and that's construction. But I know you've got some good updates for us.
Well, you know we do. The last couple of months, Mayor, we've purposely not highlighted much in the way of construction just because we were winding down PGBT construction, and that seemed to be all we talked about for months and months and months. So this month we wanted to come back and talk about what I consider to be some great updates for those commuters that use Rowlett Road, south of Century Drive, north of Miller Road. I think everyone will agree that Tricon Construction is absolutely moving with a great sense of urgency.
Which is a Rowlett-based company, by the way.
Yes,
Tricon
it is.
Construction, yes.
They are moving with a great sense of urgency, and they have absolutely moved ahead of schedule. We are anticipating that will actually be opened in May, well ahead of schedule. So we are absolutely delighted by how well they are managing that project.
Can I also add, this is the last phase of Rowlett Road. We have waited a long, long time for this one.
Well,
so.
It is, and there will always be ongoing maintenance with Rowlett Road, but as far as the last construction piece, it certainly is. So we are very, very pleased with how that project has been managed. There's a lot of cooperation between the contractor and staff to make that happen, and when there is a backup, it doesn't last long, and I'm very appreciative of that. So for those of you that commute through that corridor, there is a end in sight, if you will, and I anticipate that construction project being through at the end of May. You've heard us talk over the last couple of years about Merritt Road, and we are in the final stages of securing the right-of-way for Merritt Road, and hopefully in late spring, early summer, we'll be going out for bid and being able to award that bid. It's going to be a 4-lane divided roadway that will connect Merritt Road interchange of PGBT and Saxe to the Merritt Road interchange, and I think we call it the Liberty Grove Interconnector in Rowlett. That is a multi-jurisdictional program. It includes Saxe, Dallas County, Garland, and the city of Rowlett, but we are working very diligently to be able to kick that project off. It will last 18 months. We are also delighted to say that Dart Rail is progressing very, very quickly.
And what's the date on that again? What's the date?
That's December 3rd, Mayor.
We need to save the date. December 3rd, 2012.
That's it. We were notified a couple of weeks ago by DART officials that they're actually going to start running their trains. They're going to start that in mid-March, and we'll be able to be a part of the inaugural train car that will leave Garland going to Rowlett. And so as a part of that, they'll test their system for about 6 months. And I know a lot of people think 6 months, seriously, but think about the fact that the Blue Line is going to be extended to Rowlett from Garland. They're going to be opening the Orange Line in Irving. And so every time they extend train lines, they've got to tweak their bus system, and they've got to get the timing just so, and it is a very meticulous process. So we're delighted that most of the construction will be completed. They'll be in the testing phase with their trains, and so we really are on the last phase of that construction so that it opens December 3rd. So look for our journey on the next month's show. Drew's going to be taking that inaugural train ride with us and taping the event, and he'll be promoting that through this show as well as on RTN 16.
So what do you think my chances are of driving?
Not good, Mayor, not good.
Maybe we just get a couple of still photos. How about that?
We'll pretend you were driving.
Believe me, you don't want me driving. Although I did talk to Gary Thomas. He told me how wonderful and safe the trains are, but they wouldn't let him drive either. So I guess it's slim and none, right?
There you go.
Terrific. So up next, we're going to have an interview with Jim Grabenhorst. And so let's take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. And we are back. I'd like to welcome a special guest with us. We have our new Director of Economic Development, Jim Grabenhorst. How are you?
Wonderful, Mayor. Good.
Jim, it is great for you to be here.
Glad to be here.
We are so excited that you've come and joined Rowlett. You know, I have heard a lot of wonderful things about you. We've had an opportunity to spend some time together, but I'd like our viewers to learn a little bit more about you. And so maybe if you can begin by just kind of giving us a little bit of history on where you came from.
Sure. I native to Missouri, grew up outside the St. Louis area, and excited to be here in Rowlett. My background, a little bit about my background, Mayor, is the last 8 years I've been in the private sector doing real estate development, brokerage, and some economic development consulting. And prior to that, I've got 8 years experience in the city of O'Fallon, Missouri, which is a very city situated in a very similar position in a growth area in the St. Louis metropolitan area.
So what made you choose, I guess this is the big question, you know, when you look at your, in the private sector, you're doing well, what made you want to get involved in public works or public service?
Yeah, one of the things that being on the public sector and then in the private sector, one of the desires and one of the things that I felt was really missing from the private sector side was that building that sense of community, building that sense of teamwork, and that was really one of the reasons why I started to look at coming back into the public sector, is you get that experience and the ability to work together as a team, as part of the community, and really see the results of efforts that everyone puts in to watch a community grow.
And why Rowlett? You know, there are a lot of cities out there across the country. You're moving from Missouri. And so what made you decide to come to Rowlett? Not just because we had an opening, but
Right.
you know, a lot of cities have openings.
You know, I looked at one of the things that from my economic development hat background on was looking for areas of growth areas that are business friendly. Texas has a great reputation for being business friendly. I wanted to find a city that had was in a growth area. Rowlett certainly provides that opportunity. And then what really impressed me was kind of the strategic vision that Rowlett has been going through and the planning that they've done with the Realize Rowlett 2020 plan. That is impressive for cities to take that kind of vision, put it into action, and that's one of the things that I'm really excited to be part of, to watch that vision unfold.
Well, I think the visioning process we're going through is such an important part. And you know, it's interesting, I hear this from so many different people outside of the city, that cities normally just really don't do this kind of stuff. They really don't engage the citizens, I think, to the level that we're engaging them and asking them, tell us what your thoughts are.
No question, and one of the things that, you know, from an economic developer perspective, a lot of times that approach is just a shotgun approach to going out and attracting, whether it's businesses or working with your existing businesses or new businesses. And what Rowlett has really focused on is coming up with a strategic plan that allows our economic development department to really focus on who we're going to market the community to, listen to what the citizens, the other businesses have said are some of the strengths in the community, and that really gives us a defined focus on who we're going to go out and attract and try to work with the existing businesses to retain them in the community.
Well, we are very fortunate, you know, with the turnpike that's just come through, Dart rails on the way. We are really positioned and poised, I think, for a lot of greatness in the upcoming years. You know, this is something we haven't had the access before. And I mean, I'm sure you realize that looking at the maps and looking at the amount of property we have available.
Yeah, no question that the amount of transportation infrastructure improvements that have gone on in the community and are finishing up now are just going to lead to tremendous opportunities for growth. That's one of the key things, whether it's a retailer looking to locate in a community or industrial manufacturer or even high-tech corporate jobs. They want their residents, they want their employers to have great amenities, they want them to have great access in and out of areas, and those are some of the things that Rowlett has now.
Tell me about your vision. In other words, well, you know, I know you came in here for the first time, just, you know, took your drove around, or you take the drive around the city, and as you're driving around, you're kind of getting a better feel for what we have to offer compared to a lot of other cities. And tell me what you think some of the real keys are going to be for Rowlett in terms of our success.
Yeah, I think, you know, again, being new to the Texas area and specifically the Dallas market.
And that's why I'm asking, you know, it's that fresh set of eyes, because it's so easy when you're driving every single day to drive by the same bridge, you see progress going, but I don't think most people truly realize the impact that between the construction projects that have really been here, and they're very strategic, between the Turnpike and Dart and other key construction projects, and the amount of open space that we have and the connectivity to 30. You know, we are the connecting city to 30.
Right.
I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, in my book it is, you know, and it gives us access that a lot of other cities don't have.
Yeah, you know, again, we touched on a little bit about the infrastructure. That's one of the key things that was exciting for me to be able to see, not only the amount of green space that is there, but the opportunities for redevelopment now that new traffic patterns will be established with Bush opening. The downtown area is just an exciting opportunity for the community. And I know part of the Realize Rowlett 2020 plan is phase 2 is focusing on that. So that's going to be a unique opportunity that jumped out right away on my first visit here. Just the recreational amenities that the community has between the lake, the park system that Rowlett has is another great selling point for the community. And those are all some of the key things that made me make the decision to call Rowlett home.
That's great. So are you officially moved in?
Not officially yet. We're looking for houses right now. My family is finishing up the school year back in Missouri, and as soon as that's finished up, we'll be down here.
Well, you're fortunate. You know, this is a great opportunity to buy. We've got some very affordable housing prices, and you know, it's great. It really is a great opportunity. It's a buyer's market right now. So
no question.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck, and we are looking forward to a lot of great things in our city. So we want to thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us, and we are looking forward to a bright future.
Wonderful. Glad to be here.
Jim, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mary.
Take care.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. people start pollution, people can stop it.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lane, Library Program Coordinator for the Rowlett Public Library. We're located at 3900 Main Street. There are some great children's programs at the library year-round. On Monday mornings, there are 2 baby story times for babies under 18 months of age. At 10:30, it's story time for walking babies, and at 11:30, it's for the lap-sit babies. These are interactive and include nursery rhymes, board books, songs, bubbles, and peekaboo parachute play. On Wednesday mornings, there's toddler story time at 10:30. This story time includes books, stories, songs, action rhymes, finger plays, crafts, puppets, a giant parachute with bubbles, and surprise guests. On Friday mornings, there's preschool story time at 10:30. And this story time includes books, songs, flannel stories, puppets, rhymes, marching to music, finger plays, and a giant parachute with bubbles. Also, on March 20th, we have bilingual Spanish story time. It's going to be held at the library the 3rd Tuesday of every month at 10:30. This story time includes books and songs in Spanish, lots of puppets, neat crafts, and much more. When you're out and about, don't miss the library's story times at McDonald's. Highway 66 and Rowlett Road is presented on the 2nd Tuesday of the month, and on Lakeview Parkway between Chisa and Dow Rock, we present story time at that McDonald's on the 4th Tuesday of the month. Don't miss these fun library events for the entire family in March. Thursday, March 15th from 2 to 3, join us for the 4th annual Cake Walk. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day on the library lawn with Dewey Duck, Haley Hippo, Reddy Fox, Joe Justice, and Eddie Eagle at the annual Library Cake Walk. Win cakes and delicious baked goods from local sponsors. It's a lot of fun. Saturday, March 31st from 10 a.m. to noon, come to Spring Fest. Play games and make crafts in the library doing the egg hunt on the library lawn. Bring your camera and take a picture with Dewey Duck.
Hi, I'm Mary Lynn Saxton, the Youth Services Librarian for the Rowlett Public Library. I want to tell you about the adult programs at the library, including the Knitting Group, which meets March 20th and the 3rd Tuesday every month at 7 p.m. in the conference room. Other adult programs include GED classes and ESL classes. Check the library website or call 972-412-6161 for more information. Thursday, March 15th at 7 p.m., the City Managers Book Club will meet to discuss chapters 9 through 19 of Team of Rivals, The Political Genius of Abraham Lincoln by Doris Kearns Goodwin. City Manager Lynda is your host in the library conference room on the 3rd Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. And for our students on spring break, check out these special programs. Legos, Monday, March 12th at 2 p.m. Building creativity and just plain fun for grades 1 through 6, ages 6 to 11. Hunger Games, Tuesday, March 13th at 2 p.m. Celebrate the release of the movie based on the popular young adult book. Would you survive the Hunger Games? Find out your chances by playing survival games for grades 7 to 12, ages 12 to 18. American Girl Party, Wednesday, March 14th at 2 p.m. Bring your doll to meet with other dolls and have fun for grades 1 to 6, ages 6 to 11. And don't forget the Cake Walk on March the 15th from 2 to 3 on the library lawn. And on Friday, March 16th at 2 p.m., Titanic. The Titanic went under 100 years ago. Would you survive the sinking of the unsinkable ocean liner? Find out your chances by playing survival games for grades 7 to 12, ages 12 to 18. Hope to see you at the library.
Texas leads the nation in flood deaths. Most flood deaths are due to people driving into floodwaters not knowing how deep the water is or how fast it's moving. You have a choice. She doesn't. Make the right choice. Turn around. Don't drown.
Well, let's talk about community interest, because there's always something going on in our community as well. We have the Extraordinary Easter egg hunt coming up.
You
I
love that.
Extra. I love that. Yes, I do. Very much so. We're going to join us this year on Main Street for Rowlett's Extra Egg Hunt. And we're going to grab your Easter basket and hippity hop over to Rowlett Hall on Main Street for a hunt for 20,000 filled eggs.
You know, if you've never attended one of the Easter egg hunts, it is the cutest thing.
I had a pause because I was thinking about you, and when they said hopping over to City Hall,
Hippity hop.
hippity hopping, could you hippity hop for me?
No.
I just wanted to see what it looked like. I just got a visual. I was like, okay, here we go.
Oh.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But it is just really cute the way they do this, and they even have groups for the littlest ones, recognizing that those are picture opportunities for baby books and to send to grandmothers and granddads, and you know, that's just really, I think, some of the unique quality of life that we appreciate here in Rowlett. And in addition to egg hunting, you can enjoy face painting, bounce houses, music, photos with the Easter Bunny, and much, much more.
And that's going to be on March 31st, 2012 from 10 to noon. That's at 4000 Main Street. So come on downtown, enjoy, bring your family, and hopefully we'll have great weather and it'll be just a wonderful day. It was terrific last year.
Well, it was. You can dress up your stroller or wagon and enter the best decorated wagon or stroller contest, and line-up time for that contest is 11:15 a.m.
And there's some adorable ones too. I have to
There
tell you.
are.
And the parking's going to be available at Coyle Middle School and Herforth Park. So if you can't find parking, just park over there. It's real easy to get to. It's just a very short distance.
Well, the time for the age groups are babies to three-year-olds at 10:30 a.m., 4 to 6-year-olds at 10:45, and 7 to 10-year-olds at 11 o'clock.
Then we have the Angel Kids. We can't forget about those. They're going to be on a separate field, and babies to 3 years old are at 10:30, 4 to 6-year-olds at 10:45, and 7 to 10-year-olds are at 11 a.m. So just looking forward to that.
You bet.
Lots and lots of fun.
Well, you know, Mayor, it is that time of year where we focus on outdoor activities, and Mother Nature hopefully will be kind to us this year. Not so kind that we have flooding, but we do live in Texas where flash flooding is a real serious situation. So we want to mark Texas Flood Safety Awareness Week, March 14th through 18th. You know, while our state has been plagued recently by wildfires, high winds, and dry weather, still floods remain the major killers. The National Weather Service tells us that on average 15 Texans die each year in floods and flash floods. The majority of these deaths occur because vehicles were driven into floodwaters across roads and highways. These lives would not have been lost if drivers had followed a simple rule. When you see water across the road, turn around, don't drown. And as city manager, I want to tell you, this is a place that is very personal to me, because if you drive into that water, you put the lives of our first responders at risk. They have families and they want to go home too. So if your life isn't important enough for you to stop and turn around, please do it for the people that you're going to want and come and get you. A lot of people are put at risk when people don't follow basic common sense rules. It doesn't take much water to lift a vehicle and put you at serious peril. Please, for your own personal safety, don't cross a road with water. Turn around, don't drown. But if you're not willing to do it for yourself, please do it for the people that you're going to want to come and get you. They have families, and I want them to go home safe every day.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Let's talk about council and P&Z meetings in March. Our city council meetings are going to be held on the first and third Tuesdays of every month in March, and meetings will be held on March 6th and March 20th. So if you have an opportunity to come join us, we would love to have you come and visit. We have planning and zoning meetings are the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. In March, P&Z will meet on March 13th and February 27th. We also stream those live too, so you can go to Rowlett.com if you're interested and then you can't make it. Plus, we also have them there as well, so you can go back and look at previous broadcasts as well.
You bet.
And in closing, I want to thank all of you who's tuned into today's program, and thank you for staying in touch with your government. We would love to hear from you. Please email or call us with any suggestions or concerns. Thanks to our Communications Director, Drew Rist, and Denise Perrin, who assisted with today's broadcast. We look forward to seeing you again next month. So until next time, thanks for joining us on another edition of Rowlett on the Water, on the Move.